Hey guys, welcome to this live episode. And today I'm going to be talking about how I plan my weekly schedule. So the emphasis is going to be about showing you how I personally do that, because a lot of times when I'm sharing the content through animated videos, I'm using examples and I'm explaining the concepts. But I also think it's really, really important to show the integration process or how it's actually happening in a real life rather than just saying, oh, you should do this or you should do that. So I'm going to be going through my full process of how I plan my weekly schedule. In fact, I'm going to be planning 2 weeks because I like to cycle my productivity. So I like to do 2 weeks at a time because 1 week I have a preparation week and then I have a catch-up week. So we're going to go through the whole process. Now, before we jump into the screen sharing and looking at how everything works, I just wanted to say huge thank you for everybody because last week my YouTube channel hit 8,000 subscribers, which was a milestone for me. So I just wanted to say huge thank you for everyone who has subscribed and everybody who leaves the comment or hits the like. It really, really helps the channel grow and it makes a real difference. So my next milestone is, of course, to hit 10,000 subscribers. That is when I'm going to be able to start to share some YouTube stories and just spread my message further and further. So thank you very much for all your support. Right. So we're just starting out. I wanted to run quickly through the agenda, what we're going to be covering, and what the process is going to be. So if you're considering whether to stick around and what I'm going to be doing. So basically, I'm going to be doing it through the screen share. So you're going to see exactly how I do it. This is what I do every other week when I sit down and plan my 2 weeks ahead, a full process. So it's going to be like almost I'm doing it every other week. So we're going to first cover my goals and my vision, because those are the baseline for any type of the planning. Because if you don't have a goals, then what can you plan for? So your productivity is not going to be so good if you don't have a goals, because then you're just filling up time with some activities. So you want to make sure that you have a goals. And that's exactly what I do every time I do planning, because my plan is based on my goals, right? So after that, we're gonna check out my weekly report, and I'm gonna go through and actually fill in my weekly report how I usually do it. Then we're gonna preview or review previous 2 weeks and what I've been doing, how I've been performing, and also plan upcoming weeks. And then at the very end, I'm gonna empty my collection tools. This is my thought or idea management kind of a system that I use to stay focused on my tasks, because a lot of times when I'm working on something, or I might be, walking down the street and just listening the audiobook and suddenly hear a concept or an idea that I want to turn into the video. So I can quickly write it down and then continue the initial activity. So that's originally the plan. Right. So with that being said, let's jump into the screen share, and I'm going to start going through my full process of planning and scheduling my upcoming 2 weeks. Okay, so I hope you can see the screen. I hope you can see the screen well. We're going to start with looking at my vision and goals. Now you can see my calendar. So this is how my time blocks look like. It's a little bit messy, but we will tidy it up. There's a reason why it's a bit messy. So we're going to start with looking at the vision and looking at the goals. So those are the two main things that we're going to start with. So every time when I do my weekly or bi-weekly schedule, I have to reference my goals, because those are the things that I want to achieve. So I have to make sure that I allocate time for activities that are really, making a difference in the long run, rather than something that is like a short-term benefit or something. So my vision is very, very simple. Those who have seen my other maybe productivity presentations will be familiar with my vision, but I still want to go through. And it's important to understand that the things change as you move forward, as you evolve. Things going to be changing. So don't be afraid to adjust and make adjustments. This is all why I always suggest to plan quarterly goals, because then if you're 3 months down the line and you realize, oh, this is actually not something I want to be working towards, then you have ability to change, adapt, and then you still have 3 quarters left. so that you can focus on other things that mean or matter more to you. So you only lose 3 months if you aim for something that is wrong for you, and that's exactly how I do, and you'll see that I have quarterly goals as well. Right. So talking about my vision. So vision is very simple. So I've got four main components. I've got team, I've got content, I've got funnel, and then I have a product. And that's how the whole business infrastructure works. And that's what my main focus is about. So the team is producing content. I'm part of the team as well. At the moment, I'm covering the scripting part, some topic research part, and voicing the videos, and then of course reviewing, making sure everything is up to standard. And then I have other people who are involved with video editing and design elements like thumbnails and all other things. The second thing is the content. Content gets distributed through the platforms. So the YouTube is fully running. We have all content plan ready, and blog is still in development, but we already have started to post some content through there as well. The next part is the funnel. That is what connects, the business and people who are interested to find out more and get more kind of an insight of what I do, and some more kind of advice on productivity and time management and everything else. And then finally, there is a product that is generating income for the business. So that's basically the whole vision. And the vision really helps me to understand where I'm aiming at. So this is my 2020 vision. This is what I'm focusing at. So let's move on. So that was my vision. So quarterly goals. So like I said you before, I think it's really important to focus on quarterly goals, because it helps you, it gives you urgency. So if you set a yearly goals, you make New Year's resolutions at the beginning of the January or end of the year, and then you can waste the whole year and arrive at the end of the year and be disappointed. But if you make a quarterly goals, then you can adjust your route and reset your goals for the next quarter and work towards them. So there are multiple benefits of doing that. So my goal for the second quarter, or my goals, multiple things. My main thing was the content, of course. So it was to create 150 micro videos on my YouTube channel. So the project one was to develop infrastructure. Obviously, green means it's already done. Project two was to script 150 micro videos, and project three was to voice 150 videos. As you can see, guys, those both are green. I've actually exceeded my goal because I happen to be able to produce more content because I added some days to my monk weekend, and you'll see when I do my weekly planning how it looks like. So I've already done 190 pieces of content this quarter, and the final goal is to finish the blog and start posting one article per day. So as you can see, it's yellow, and that means it's work in progress. So this is it. I try to keep things simple. I don't like to have very complex charts or whatever, because if you have something that might be very accurate, very precise, but if you can't follow up with it or can't follow through, then there is no point of having it. So I like to keep it simple because it keeps my mind away from a lot of complex decisions, and I find that I can more easier to work towards my goals, because I don't have to make much of a decisions. All I have to do is just to produce content. So that's it. Right. So that was the first part of the review. So I always reflect on my goals, and I always reflect on my vision, just to make sure that I'm still excited about these goals. I still think that's the right kind of a direction where I want to go and the things that I want to achieve. So with that being said, so that covers my vision and goals. So let's jump into into the calendar. So this is how my time blocked general week looks like. Now, it might seem very hectic and a lot of things, but I want you to guys pay attention to the gray blocks. Like on 21st, I've got buffer, and I have buffer every day. So what it means is I have a spare time in case I don't manage to finish something on time. I always have buffer time so I can cover it. And as you already know, there are always more things to do. I don't expect, I mean, I do expect that something is gonna, need to be, somewhere I will need to put my attention, like on maybe on some client work, or maybe something within the team, or make some decisions. So there will be always more things happening. So I like to include time blocks in my schedule. And you can also see that I have few white blocks across the week. So it's not everything completely packed out. Right, but let's follow the schedule. So we need to look at the strategy. This little time block, I usually do it on Saturday mornings. Obviously, I didn't do it this morning because I knew I'm going to be shooting this live, and I wanted to show you guys how I go through the whole process. And we should be done under an hour easy. Yeah. So what this time block is about. So this is how I plan my upcoming weeks and also review my previous week's performance. So there's a little agenda on the top, if you can see. Number one is review my previous week and write the report. So that's what we're going to be doing right now. Then we're going to update and just adjust my upcoming week or 2 weeks in our case. And then number three is I need to send my weekly report to my coach. So my coach can have a look and maybe suggest some suggestions from her side about what needs to be improved, or whether she can see some obstacles in my way, because I'm so close in everything that I might miss something. So that's really, really helpful. Right. So with that being said, let's jump in and start to review it. Right. So, and as you can see, I also have everything laid out, so I don't have to worry about what I'm going to write, what I'm going to say in my report. You can see that I have multiple headlines that I need to just basically like answer the questions about how my week has been going. So, how is my performance? Focus on time investment. How is my energy? My team and team's performance. Main things achieved this week, so what I've been focusing on. Main things that I'll be achieving upcoming week. That's also something that we're going to put down. Then some comments from me, and then whether I should adjust my weekly, upcoming week schedule because of some, external or, internal things that are happening within the business or within the family. It's always to better kind of avoid kind of a shortcoming. If there is a huge event and you might not be able to invest as much time as usual, then you might want to adjust your upcoming week schedule, because it's always better to prevent you from burnout or something else. And then at the bottom, if you can see, there are 2 links, and those 2 links I already showed you guys. With every time I do my weekly report, I always check my goals and check my vision, because that's how I build my weekly structure. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to do that. So with that being said, let's go through the report. Let's do a review of my previous week. So for that reason, I have another calendar here, which just has been reloaded because it was eating a lot of my resources. Okay, so 2 weeks ago, right? So we're gonna look at, so this is our current week. So this was previous week, and this was week before. Okay. So as you can see, the previous week started pretty much the same. I usually have my days themed out, so which means usually on the same days of the week, I would do the same activities. It's kind of a theming, and it really helps me to get in the right mindset. For example, Saturdays are my administrative and strategy days. So in the morning, I would strategize. In afternoon or in the second part of the day, I would do a lot of admin work, because as of creating so much content, it also requires a lot of review process of reviewing the content, sending the feedback, making adjustments, and then making sure the process is running smoothly. So on Saturdays, that's pretty much what I was doing. On Sunday, because I have my extended monk weekend, and it used to start on Fridays, now it starts on Wednesdays, so I've been moving it backwards. On Sunday, I did my preparation for lives. And also I prepared email for my audience. And then second part of the day is just to catch up. There are some white slots. I think I was doing some catch up. And then at the end of the day, I have my rest time block. Then on Monday, I was focusing on blog. Obviously, you saw that is one of the goals that I haven't achieved this quarter. So my Monday, I was focusing quite a lot on blogs, on blog stuff. I was creating infrastructure documentation for my editor, and also communicating with the developers about what needs to be completed. And then second part of the day was just the gym and buffer, and finishing off some things that need to be done. So from Tuesday, it started as a content. So that is when I write content. I usually do big videos. I do 2 per day. So in the morning part until 1 o'clock, until I go to the gym, I script them. So I write 2 scripts, each of them about 1,200 words long. Then I write descriptions, and then in the evening I voice these scripts. So that's kind of a process when I create usual content. From there, I start my monk weekend. This is where I produce these little pieces of content. This is my quarterly goal, and you can see 3 days this week. And if we flick 1 week forward, you can see another 3 days here. So that's basically what my focus was. 6 days in a row, I was just writing a micro pieces of content. Then following that, on Tuesday, I did, again, content production. Those are the big videos. Same on Thursday, 18th. Again, I did the content production. On Wednesday, I was preparing for the live episode that I'm actually delivering today. And also I had some coaching calls, and also on Wednesdays. I start to catch up with the things, because as you can imagine, from the monk weekend, there is like 6 days plus the content days. So I haven't been really available. I don't check my emails. I rarely do anything else as of only focus on the things that need to be achieved, and that is producing the content. So I have client queries, I have team queries, I have other things. I've got emails that I need to sort out, and it's just kind of a slow catch-up process. And then on Friday, that's pretty much what I do. On Fridays, I do quite a bit of coaching calls, and also a lot of catch-up, a lot of admin catch-up, preparation, speaking with the team meetings, and stuff like that. So that's about that. And that's pretty much it. That's how my 2 weeks have been going. So in general, it was pretty good. So let's let's note that down. So in the report, how is my performance? I'll be quite short, because obviously I don't want you guys to wait too long on me just typing out the long sentences. And I'm generally just kind of putting down the highlights. It's not like I'm writing for half an hour a long letter or something to my coach. It's just to remember the highlights of the week. So my focus on performance, I'll say all good. All good here. And in fact, my performance was quite good, because one thing that I recently realized, I was on a cutting diet. I started to cut because I can't work out in a gym. Gyms are closed. So I thought, well, I might as well go on a cutting diet and get shredded. So I'm doing a lot of cardio workouts. I'm doing core exercises 3 times a week. I'm doing abs circuits and side strengthening circuits. So that's about 45 minutes 3 times a week. And then I also do quite a bit of running. I run like 3 times a week, about 8 kilometers per time. So I'm about 24-25 kilometers per week. So, and I thought, well, I'm gonna get shredded. And what happened was I actually started to lose a lot of energy, a lot of mental energy. And I was like, I couldn't focus on my writing, and I felt exhausted. I'm waking up in the morning and I barely can get myself out. And I realized that my diet started to affect my performance. So what I instantly did, I flicked back on my bulking diet, which is about 3,500 calories. I was down to about 2,200, and I got back to 3,500 or close to 3,500. And since then, my energy has been just up in the sky. So it's very, very important to realize that actually can have a huge influence on your performance. So my energy has been very good, actually. So I'll put very good on my energy. Okay, team's performance. Yeah, with regards to the team, I'm really happy with the team's performance, especially with the content production and also with other projects that we currently work on. So we've got a couple of development projects. Those are web development projects. I'm not very much involved with those. It's more of a lead developer with a designer and and developer assistant who is kind of looking after everything. But I still do like weekly check-ins just to make sure everything is fine and if the client is happy and everything. So team management and team performance has been great, as I said, especially with the fact that, you know, in about a month ago we started to produce triple amounts of the content that we used to do before. I'm really happy that that's been going, you know, very good. So that's good, very good. Okay, main things achieved this week. So what did I do this week? So in order for me to answer that, I need to go 2 weeks back and check my strategic time block and see what I was planning for. And at the time, I was planning, obviously, to do my monk weekend. I write 50 pieces of content and voice 50 pieces of content. And I also wanted to do some blog stuff. So let's move it here. And I did my 50 pieces of content. So I usually just copy it here and I just put it down. And the same for the blog. We were continuing work with the blog and we had to finish, I believe, 2 sections, which is articles and about section. So we don't have a complicated blog. I try to make it as minimalistic and simplistic as possible. I think we have about 6 sections. So we are pretty much halfway through, if not more than halfway through. And we did finish these 2 sections as well. There are some little tweaks, but for general, you know, for the most part, they are completed. So I'll put it done. Okay, next thing is main things that will be achieved this week. Obviously these upcoming 2 weeks. And again, I'll just copy over because I know my content is still going to be my focus. So I do want to focus on my content production and produce more content. So I'm going to go after another 50 plus 50 pieces of content. So that's 50 scripts and 50 voiceovers. As of the blog, so complete blog, I think we have definitely 1 section left, which is productivity mastermind section. So I'll do that. And then we can add, also the email signups. So that's going to be in a place as well. So that would be great if we could get that done. Okay, the next thing is content production and distribution. So that's part of our operational side of the business, where I need to make sure that the team is capable of producing or working on the content that I produce. And as I said, that's been quite good. We've actually started to build some backlog. Because up to this point, we were in a position where I would record the content, the video editor would make the animation videos, and then we would basically need to ship it onto the YouTube. Whereas now we start to get a little bit of a head game, and we are capable of doing it in a bulk. And as of today, my video animator has sent me all the videos that I need to review. And then once I review it, we're going to be able to schedule it for 2 weeks. So that means I'm not going to be distracted during my monk weekend where I need to, tie up some tails or whatever. So that is really good. And I always like to, with anything else that we do, like, blogs or other pieces of content, I always like to have a bit of a backlog, because that gives a lot of flexibility. Because once you're ahead of the game, then you can play around with your resources and you can be more focused. But when you start to, jump from one activity to another, and then you're chasing the voiceover, you're checking it, you're sending one piece over, it really burns a lot of your energy because you're making so many decisions. So that's really important. So in here, I'll say all good or perfect. And comments from me. I don't have much of a comment. Everything was good. So I'll just put everything was good. Because last 2 weeks has been really productive. Like I said, there was nothing that was holding me back to perform at my best, and I have already increased a lot of the volume in terms of the content production. Because originally, if I look back at the beginning of the quarter, I was aiming at being able to produce 25 pieces of content this micro content that I'm talking about as a goal. That was my goal to get 25 done. And as you can see, last week I did 50 during the monk weekend, and this upcoming week I'm also planning to do 50. So the volume has been double. So I'm really, really happy with how it's going. The only thing that I kind of underestimated, because when I started to produce so much content, I had worries about whether I'm going to be able to write that much. And the second worry was about my voice, whether I'm going to be able to, record like so many days in a row for X amount of hours just to record. And if I'm not going to lose the voice. But that wasn't the case. The biggest thing that I find is the volume of the content that I need to review, which is kind of a more administrative task. Now, I could try to outsource it or give it to somebody else, but I think it's really important that I keep that, because I know when I write something, I know how that has to be explained or shown or described in animation video. So it's really hard to give it to somebody else and say, yeah, just review, because for him it might sound, oh, that's great. Whereas I want to make sure that all the expressions, emotions, and everything is synced and in line with what I'm telling in the in the video concept. So that's why I'm still holding on to it. And it's also not a bad thing. I like to sometimes have a kind of a days where I can be more relaxed. And when I'm doing content review, I can be very relaxed. I can work with distractions. I can do something that is called shallow work, where I don't mind that, I watch one video, maybe I'm, sitting on email, answering some emails or doing some things in between, just to kind of, calm your brain down. So you're not always on that, 100% capacity and just, burning yourself out. So that's why I like cycling my productivity, where I, do the lows and then ups and then repeat the process every 2 weeks. Okay, everything okay. Okay, should I adjust my structure next week if there's any pressure that I feel? No, everything is fine, and we're going to go through my week right now so we can see whether we need to adjust some things or not. So that's what we're going to do right now. So let's move to the current week. Okay, so far, if we look at tomorrow, everything seems fine. I've got a buffer time. On Monday, I have my one-off activities where I might do some reporting or just catching up with some more content that needs to be reviewed. Then content production, 24th on Wednesday, I'm going to be preparing for upcoming week lives episodes and also preparing emails for my audience. And then we can start from here on 25th. So what's happening on 25th? I need to get rid of a lot of time blocks because I'm not going to be actually doing it. So I like to clean it up. So I'm going to be focusing on monk weekend. So when I do my monk weekends, I literally don't do anything else. The only thing that I do, so I'm actually lying a little bit. The only thing that I do, I still do exercise, because I find that exercise gives me that extra energy, and there's no point for me to not do it, So that's why I keep the exercise always on the schedule. And as I said, recently I've been doing more of a cardio exercises rather than weightlifting, because basically all the gyms are closed, right? So that's about that. Also, I need to go back because I'm doing because I'm planning to do 50 pieces of content. I need to extend my monk weekend to Wednesday. So when I said I need to prepare emails and lives, that's not true. I need to go back and get rid of this, because I'm going to be preparing the following week, and I'm going to create another monk weekend day. So we're going to do this. And then we're going to copy this time block. And I just want to, show you guys how generally easy it is to modify your week throughout the Google Calendar, because a lot of people feel that, oh, this is going to take me a lot of time to plan my week and do this, do that. But actually, once you build the structure, it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty easy. So. Right, so what date is that going to be? 27th, I think. 27th, save. Okay, right. That wasn't the right thing to do. That was the wrong month. Okay, let's do it again. My mistake. I think I put 27th of May. Yeah, that's what I did. So we need 24th of June. Yes, 24th of June. That's all good. Save. Boom. Okay, so now it's in the place. So now in the history, I've got a spare time block, which I don't worry too much about. That's fine. So this is how my this week looks like. So I'm gonna start my week with a bit of a buffer. So today's almost done. I have some buffer time at the end of the day. Tomorrow I'm gonna do some content reviews and then a couple of meetings, and then I'll do a rest. And on Monday I'll be probably focusing either on blog or maybe checking some reports over, just making sure that everything is looked after. Because once the Tuesday hits, I'm not available for 6, 7, 8 days, yeah, because I'm creating content all the time, and I don't like to be distracted. So I'm gonna remove next week's strategy time block and all other time blocks that are in the way. So this is the second week that we plan out. Okay, let's get rid of this and that. Okay, I was wondering why there is no gym session, but because it's Saturday, there's not going to be gym on Saturday. I'm actually going for a run anyway on Saturdays. I like to do longer runs on Saturdays with my wife. She's preparing for her half marathon, so we can go for a bit longer runs. Right, so that's about that. Okay, so Sunday now. Usually I have a bit of a rest time after my monk weekend, so I'll do that as well. So I'll move it down. Only this event. There you go. And the last day that we need to massively adjust is Monday, when I finish off my monk weekend. Okay, that is pretty much it. And the gym stays there. Okay, so as you can see, first 3 days of the, not this week, but following week is going to be content. Is going to be content production, how I call them monk weekends. Then after that, I'm going to go into more content writing, the big videos, the big content writing. Wednesday is when I'm going to actually prepare lives and my emails. So I will probably do double amount of that, so I don't have to worry about it when I have my monk weekend, because probably I'll keep doing these extended monk weekends all the time. I might adjust the time slot a little bit longer, but I'll see how it goes the next the upcoming Wednesday. Then on Thursday I'm gonna do the content writing again, and on Friday I'm gonna start to catch up with all the stuff that has been accumulated over all this time when I've been away. So that's going to be emails, client queries, team queries, and everything else that flies my way that needs my attention. So what we got here, okay, I'm going to move that probably. Just a little adjustments. Okay, we're going to move dinner a little bit up and get rid of this one. Okay, and that's pretty much it. That concludes my 2 weeks. So that's how my 2 weeks look like. And now I can, now once I've made this decision, once I've planned it out, I don't have to worry about, okay, what I'm gonna do when, because everything is already planned out. And this schedule directly supports my goals, because if we go back to my goals, like what's my goal? So if you look at my goals, it's content, yeah. And if I look at my weekly schedule, then you can see that most of the days, not on a weekend, I'm reviewing some content. So then on Monday I'm doing catch-ups, but then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is content. And then again, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday is content. Then again, catching up, and Tuesday is content again. Thursday is content again. So out of 14 days, 9 days I'm spending on content. And this is really, really important. This is why I always say to people, if you show me your weekly schedule, how you spend your week, I can tell you whether you're going to be able to achieve your goals, because your ability to achieve your goals will come down to how you invest your time in those things that you want to achieve. And if you if you don't have a plan, or if you have a plan that does include these activities, then unfortunately there is no way, you're just living in a delusion, and you're never going to be able to achieve your goals if that's the case. So that's why it's very, very important, and that's why I want to share how I actually plan out my week, so you can see how much time I allocate for my goals, and how much time I allocate for everything else. So I have my processes, like cooking is streamlined, my morning routines are streamlined, my gym schedule, well, it's not really gym schedule, but my workout schedule is streamlined as well. I know exactly that on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, I'm going to be doing core exercises. I'm doing circuits for about 45 minutes. Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, I'm going for a run. And it's simple. I don't have to make any decisions. I use that energy that I save on decision making, and I invest it in working towards my goals and ultimately my vision and my business. So that's how it basically works. Right. So we've been going through this, just glancing at what's next in the plan. So we have planned out the week. Let's go back. Let's save the report. I'm pretty happy. I'll put all adjusted. Okay, so I got my report. So I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna only save this event because I will need to send it. I'll probably do that later. I'll send it to my coach and say, hey, I've done my bits. I've been really productive. I'm really happy. So I'll do that after the live episode. And now the next thing is that I wanted to cover as well, which is not actually part of what we are covering, is I also update my journal. So obviously I've got my, always my notes with me, all the journal entries. So I like to keep my little stuff in a journal, and then all the big picture I can see on, Google Calendar. So one way how you can, become very comfortable with time blocking is not trying to be very, very detailed and specific, because then you're spending more time twinkling about than, investing in work. So that's why, as you can see, my time blocks, I've got pretty like decent sized time blocks. It's not, split out in 15-minute increments. It's generally the focus point, and then all the little stuff goes in my notes. So this is one thing that I did actually this morning, because I didn't want to just sit down with you guys and be like, okay, now I'm going to be updating my journal entries. And the reason why I need to update my journal entries is because I don't like to use a yearly calendars or planners. I prefer just like a blank ruled notebook, because occasionally I like to change up the way how I, schedule things, or how I make notes. Sometimes I need, both pages. Sometimes I'm fine with half page. Sometimes I can schedule, 3 days in one page. So just to keep it, very flexible, and I can be very spontaneous about how I approach the things that I do. So that's about that. Going forward, so journal updated, so that's all sorted. There's one more step that I need to do as a part of my weekly planning. And if you look at this time block, there is a little time block called manage. So this little time block is when I go through my collection tools. And if you've seen my big presentation video, which is my channel trailer, you will know what a CME framework is. It's the framework that I created to manage my thoughts and ideas, because then I can stay focused on the things that need to be done. For example, if I'm focusing on writing a script, then I don't want to, get distracted by any other things. But I can't pause my thoughts, and I can't pause, new ideas. It's in my brain. People say the biggest distraction is the mobile phone. I don't think so. I think your brain is your biggest distraction, because, this thing, I can switch it off. I can leave it in another room. Now it's on do not disturb mode. Yeah. But I can't do anything with my brain. It's always working. It's always on. It's always generating ideas, and it's great. It does its job. But it's also a big distraction. So that's why I have a system in place that helps me to manage it. And I do that through a very simple tool called Google Tasks. And it's integrated right here into, into all the products of Google. So if you're on Gmail, you can add tasks. If you are on Calendar, like we are now, you can add tasks. If you are on Google Docs, you can add tasks. So it's generally really, really good tool. Right. So with that being said, let's go ahead and let's do this managing slot. So now, for those who don't know what CME framework is, it's an acronym. It stands for, collect or capture, manage, and execute. So the first phase is all about collecting information. You don't have to do anything, because the goal is to get the thought in your mind onto your collection tool. Because the only way you can stop thinking about something is when you write it down, right? So once you write it down, your brain realizes, okay, I know where to find if I need it, and you can get back focusing on what needs to be done. So I use Google Tasks to capture all these things. The second step, the managing step, is also very important, and you have to be very disciplined not to get distracted or kind of a sidetracked with starting to work on anything, because the goal here is not to work on it. You only need to manage. That's why the step is called not manage, not do or execute or whatever. That's the last stage. And managing tasks means putting them into right places. Sometimes it's meaningless. Sometimes you have to delete it. Sometimes it's something you can delegate. And in the last case, if you really need to deal with it, then you have to schedule it when you're going to do that. Because I have often fallen into this trap, and a lot of people do, when they just look at something and they go, oh, this is going to take me 10 minutes, yeah, and they start to work on it. And during the process of working on it, something else comes up and something else. So you end up, going distracted from what you plan to do, and you just get lost and you destroy your daily structure, and that's never a good thing. So let's go ahead, and as I said, it's really easy to do it from here because it's integrated right here. So let's go ahead and manage our things. Okay, there you go. So as you can see, it's quite a bit of things. This is what I've been collecting. Now, sometimes I pop in to the collection tool and clean it up, because sometimes there is something that I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it in the evening, right? So I come back in the evening and I sort out the thing. But sometimes things can stay here for a while. And the important thing is to make sure that you clean out these collection tools. You can use other things as well. You can use notes on your on your phone. You can use your journal. Sometimes I make notes in journal, but I like to keep it in one place, because then it's simple. I don't have to think like, did I put it in a journal? Did I put it on Google Tasks? It's always in Google Tasks, and it's always with me. Right. So also another thing that you'll see quite a lot on my list is topic ideas. Now I have this, massive goal of creating 1,000 videos, not creating 1,000, it's about 820 videos this year. So if I listen to audiobook, or if I listen to podcasts or something, and if I hear a concept that I want to describe in about 2 minutes, then I can take a note of that. So because I'm listening a lot of audiobooks, I take down a lot of notes. So, but it shouldn't be that long. It should take us a couple of minutes to get it sorted and move on. Right. So for that reason, we're going to need this document. This is my topic ideas document. And as you can see, I'm at about 674. This is topic idea 674. I generally need about 620, but I know there are some duplicates. I have already come across some duplicates, but I'm not going to check for duplicates. I'll just put them down into the collection, into the place where they need to be, and I'll check before I'm going to do my writing stuff. So this is that. Okay, I can get rid of this. So that's sorted. Next one, 7 short videos. Again, this is like a reminder for me. So I was thinking, like, what are the seven best things that I could give as advice if somebody asked me to improve their productivity? Like, somebody asked me, hey, Janis, what would you suggest me? And then I thought, okay, what 7 tips or advices I could give? And those going to be about like 3-minute, explainers on, on different types of the things. And I have put down a couple of ideas, but it's going to stay there. And every time I remember something, I can just add it on the list. So I'll just simply keep it there. Okay, then Patrice on blog count. So this is this is already sorted. Get live designs, and that's actually the thumbnail for this video. It's also sorted. Okay, open TransferWise account. So that's something that I need to do. And I can directly take it out from these notes, put it in my journal on a days when I'm available. And if you look at my calendar, then you know that my Sunday and Monday of this week, obviously tomorrow and day after, are kind of available days, and I need to make sure that I clear it, or I have to postpone it till next weekend because I'm not going to have any time in between. So I think I can do it tomorrow. So I'll just make a note in my notebook. So okay, so that's sorted. Right. So once it's in the journal, I can take it out. Okay, there's another topic idea. So that goes in the document. As I said, there might be some duplications, but I'm not worried about that because, as I said, I'll check them later. And the goal here is just to show you the process rather than exactly how I do that. Okay. Don't know why I always keep picking the wrong tabs. I only have 4 tabs and I'm still getting it wrong. Okay. Sunk cost bias. Okay. This is also a topic idea. Sunk cost bias. From the book, can't remember which one was that. Okay, send email to team about 8K subscribers. So this is what I mentioned at the beginning of the video. So I wanted to make sure that I appreciate my team's effort, because they are the reason why I've been able to achieve this goal. Because I don't do animations for my videos, and without my team, I wouldn't be able to do that. Okay, indexing API. Okay, that's again something to do with the blog, and I know I need to discuss it with my developer. So I'm gonna have a talk with him tomorrow. So I'll just make a note for tomorrow on that. Okay, so that's sorted. We're gonna discuss it tomorrow. Okay, content piece for collaboration. Okay, that's quite a big piece of job that I need to do. So I'm inclined to currently leave it there. Okay, update thank you pages with bonus offer. That is also quite a big thing that I need to do. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do that. And I think I'm going to just leave it there. And then audiobook every morning. So this is something that I put there as a reminder. So it has become like a habit. So my current morning routine involves me going for a walk, getting a fresh air, and in the meantime, listening to some sort of audiobook. And I have developed it as a habit, so I can literally take it off. And that's pretty much it. Okay, so that's about that. Yeah, that's it. So I've got 3 things, like reminders, 3 other things. If I feel that I have more time on some of these, I can always dig into these reserves and be like, hey, I'm going to create this piece of collaboration material. Also, another thing that is important, once you start to take something off this list, you got to clarify it, because that piece of content is a bigger thing. It's not just like a quick write-up or something. So it's almost going to be like a project. And if I want to approach something, I like to be very clear about what steps I need to go through. So I might create a project for it and then just outline or do like subtasks that I need to go through in order to achieve that. So so that's basically the whole process. Okay, that's pretty much it. So I have done my planning. Right. I'm gonna stop the screen share. I don't think we need that. Okay. All right. Next, yes, I said I'm gonna do some answering questions. So what we have, what is that's a lot of food. Yes, that I think you mean about my 3,500 calories. I mean, generally it's not that much if you consider that I have very fast metabolism. I used to be a long distance runner, so my body processes food very efficiently, And my biggest challenge when I'm, lifting weights is to eat more. So it's harder for me to eat than to go to the gym and hit weights. It might seem a lot, but I think when I did my proper bulk and I was going to the gym, I was eating way above 4,000 calories. Okay, next. The content review process of reflection. Right. So yes, no. Okay. So what I wanted to say is the content review process of reflection. No, it's not a reflection. I think you mean my reflection time block that you saw on pretty much every day at about 5 p.m. So let me bring back my calendar. So just to re-emphasize for those. So on Saturday and throughout the day, throughout the week. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I have this time block that is called reflection. And during this time block, what I do is I reflect on my daily activities. So it's kind of a time for me to stop. It's usually the time after I have finished my most important things. Of course, I do some things after that. But if you look at my weekly plan, you can see that, okay, I've got some client reports here, but then I've got cooking, voicing, cooking again, voicing, cooking. So for the most part, I'm done with my daily activities, and I use that time to really, usually it's look at my calendar. For example, if I look at my yesterday's things, I like to record all my activities. So what I would do, I would estimate how productive I've been rather than just focus on the volume, because I find that every time I am able to reflect, I'm becoming more productive because I can see the things from like different perspective. I'm projecting it to the different perspective. So that's why I do this reflection. Now, to be honest, I have been recently struggling to do these reflections. Maybe not struggling, but I wouldn't say that I would be particularly good with doing them. So occasionally I would reflect. Sometimes I would just work through them or do something else. But I was quite consistent a couple of months ago, and it helped me to clarify what I'm doing right and what I'm doing wrong. And usually, if I haven't been doing them for a long time, then I know that I might be trying to overwork myself, or something is not right. Same like if I can't wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning, I know that something is not right. Something needs to change. So that's basically my review time block. So that's when I reflect back on my daily activities, and then I usually plan my following day's activities accordingly. So if something took longer than planned, then I can adjust for the upcoming day if I'm doing the same activity. So I hope that answers your question. Okay, cool. That is awesome. I guess that's about it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you very much, guys, for those who joined the live and those who will be watching the replay. I really, really enjoyed this episode because I felt that, a lot of, like I said at the beginning, a lot of times when I share something, it's kind of a more abstract. It's just like, hey, this is how you set goals. This is how you do that. But when I'm really able to show you how I do it and how I integrate it into my daily life, I think it adds a lot more value. And yeah, I hope it's really, really adding more value rather than just saying this is how you should do it. So because I really enjoyed this episode, I will also be coming live in some of the upcoming weeks and probably talking about quarterly goals, because look, we are 2 weeks out of the end of the quarter 2, and we need to get ready for quarter 3. And yeah, it would be great for me to show you guys how I actually plan the whole quarter ahead to make sure that I can achieve my my quarterly goals. Okay, with that being said, thank you very much for joining, and I'll see you guys in the next live episode. Bye.